Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. It's actually late in the day. It has been wet and rainy and awful outside, while also periodically being sunny, bright, and nice. While also not being nice. One of the times I went out when it was bright and sunny, it was also bitterly cold with harsh winds. And then I just got back from going outside and it was bright and sunny. And then it was raining hard. And then it was gray with no rain. And then it was raining. All this in about 10 minutes of walking? So it's weird weather out there. But because of that, I haven't walked far. Little micro walks periodically. Past that, I have just been watching videos and thinking. And I think about this, that, and the other, largely about my setting and the various parts of that. And there's somebody yelling outside behind me all of a sudden, and I find it very, very distracting. But I'm thinking about my setting all the time and how vast and huge all of the subjects that are about it, because after all, I've talked about with the, I don't know if you can hear it with the people yelling, because when I tend, yeah, it's also my hearing, I can hear things real well. But from the very beginning I've talked about, from the very beginning of the cosmology, from the very starting of time and how the multiverses are created to the middle point where the cosmic horrors themselves are dashing about and doing things, to time in the multiverse after the cosmic horrors themselves have passed on through old age, and what time and space is like after they've passed. But because they have passed and things have become permanently altered, things can never become what they were before the horrors were there. So there will always be difference and change because of that. But oh boy, I really want to talk about a lot of things, but again, first I want to try and talk about things that are more down to earth. I have been trying to get the pencil and paper solo RPG stuff done. Executive dysfunction, executive function issues, there's a slash in there, executive function / executive dysfunction issues suck. Depending on how bad you have it, things can be moderately bad or horribly bad. There's this one channel I watch online via Rhino where he has discovered he has ADHD, and his therapist has told him, with the situations going on with him and his medications and how much things can do, he just has to get used to having a slightly messier house. Like, if he throws a pair of socks by his dirty clothes hamper, his executive function is going to be yelling at him all day to pick it up. And his executive function issues are also going to make it so he can't. And so he, instead of yelling at himself and beating his head against that wall every time and it not changing anything, stop beating your head against the wall. Accept that some things like that are just going to be. Now that's hard, that's painful, but I have in my old age gotten better at it with some things and am finding it difficult to let go of others. I wish I had some good examples, but right now I do not. But my views on the world have changed, not extravagantly, that's the wrong kind of word, it's not like a musical or a stage show, but my views on life have changed a lot in many ways. I've mentioned this before. I used to be that kind of person, like they talk about this in such like comic books, if you're a continuity person, where it's like the continuity of things matters, because if you want to try and tell a story, you don't want something that happened in the past to directly contradict, or have had something happen where you can't have your story or situation occur. And so continuity matters. But at the same time, no, continuity doesn't matter. Being able to tell a good story matters more than continuity matters. I used to be that deep continuity person. Now I've mentioned it as what parts are canon. All parts are canon, especially the parts of canon that contradict. There we go. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I put you through that. If you're still watching, I'm amazed. Thank you if you are. But yeah, it comes down to canon and continuity. It's like, which parts of continuity are actual? All of them are. Especially the parts that contradict each other. So yeah, that's the way I am these days. And again, if you watched all the way through that, thank you so very much. Anyway, though, that's the way things are in my head about life, and so thumbs up on that. Which I'll jump back to with my whole setting again with the cosmic horrors, how there is the one major cosmic horror who birthed the 12 other cosmic horrors, her children, and it is these 13 cosmic horrors that are the big basis of everything that happens within this multiverse. Because there is the original multiverse where nothing happens. It's just endless repetition of the same things, because while there are an incredible number of configurations that can occur of our universe configurations, an endless almost endless number of them, there are a finite number of them. It may take such a long period of time that we cannot conceive of it as human beings, but it's still finite. And within those times, it is eventually going to repeat. And within this one multiverse, it is just endless creation, the same thing time after time. Now, it was when these beings that they aren't gods, but they are effectively such, they come from another layer of creation that I'm going to have to talk about at another point, because I'm trying to get to Amaterasu. But these people sink the foundations of a city into the multiverse, which is why it splits. Now, normally multiverses don't split, because anything that can happen within a multiverse will happen within a multiverse. Only if something happens where it can't will it have to split. Well, when they sink the foundations of the city they're building into the multiverse, well, it splits. So this original one is still off percolating, do what it does, but I'm more concerned with the one where the foundation is sunken with the city. Now it has to jump back to Amaterasu, who is in a completely different multiverse with a completely different set of universal constants. And these universes, well, there is nothing in our multiverse that could ever lead to anything even approaching her form of life. And in her multiverse, there is nothing that could happen that would ever even come close where our type of life could be. So she does the impossible in many, many, many different ways. The closest that our minds can come to envisioning her is after she has birthed. It is best to try and envision her as a gigantic maggot. She's nothing close to that, but if you envision that, that's close. Before this time, she is effectively an egg layer in this universe, in her multiverse, and these eggs are fertilized afterward. If they're not fertilized, they become just drones. If they are fertilized, they become citizens like her and those that fertilize the eggs. That's nowhere near what the reality is, but that is as close as we could really come to as a metaphor. But she does the impossible. Literally the impossible. There is no such thing as any kind of mammalian reproduction in her multiverse or universe. She becomes pregnant. She has not just one, but 12 sets of female mammalian reproductive organs, and she is pregnant in each one, bearing a now developing fetus. This is impossible within her multiverse. Even if she were to somehow to become able to have these parts, there is nothing in her multiverse that could ever form that could fertilize her eggs and cause her to become pregnant. But she does. And she has 12 developing fetuses within her. So, she would have been safe within her multiverse, but for her children, she does again the impossible and launches herself into the Ungata, the void. Now, this is again a death sentence because there is literally nothing in the Ungata, physically, theistically, philosophically. If you enter the Ungata, that is it. All matter evaporates into energy. All energy collapses to its lowest possible rest state. When you do that, there is no possibility of change. And when there's no possibility of change, time stops. Time is a record of change. And there is no possibility of change within these universes anymore. And when there's no possibility of change, there is no interaction with these things anymore. And if you can't interact with them, they're not really there. So anything that passes into the Ungata is gone. But she launches herself into the Ungata, the void. It is infinite in size, which means no matter where you enter, there is no exit. It is that. It's not a thing. There is no way to reach the other side. There is no other side. She launches herself into the Ungata and comes out the other side. Where she comes out, unless you come from the multiverse where the city is, unless you come from the actual city, there is no way to even know the multiverse has a foundations and then has a city built upon it. She comes out of the Ungata aimed at the city. The city is an infinite city. It is infinitely large, filled with an infinite number of individuals. These individuals are all truly individuals. No individual from the beginning of time until the end of time, and there is no beginning and there is no end, will ever have the same even DNA as another citizen. And time will not stop. It is infinite. These people, when they see Amaterasu coming, they evacuate the city. An infinite number of people evacuate an infinitely large city within a 24-hour period. But the city is still alive. When Amaterasu lands in the city, she live births her 12 children. These 12 children are citizens of this multiverse. Even though they are not of this multiverse, even though their mother has done the impossible and launched herself from her multiverse through the Ungata to the city, and she has live birthed her children here, this multiverse is their home. Now, when she came out and was coming toward the city, the multiverse split 3 times. The first split was the original and actual no split, where they evacuate. There is a split where they evacuate after fighting a time, and there is another split where they fight and actually defeat Amaterasu and her children. I don't care about two of those. I am interested in the multiverse where they evacuate and Amaterasu sets up home in the city. Her children travel throughout the entirety of the multiverse. It is their home. Within this multiverse is where the universe where it has the cryptid setting, the inside, outside, and the razor's edge. Because there are wild energies that zoom all the way through these multiverses, including this one especially because it's where the cosmic horrors are. And with all these energies, as the universe configurations are created, energies can come in and alter them or flow in and become a part of them. And in this universe, a massive amount of energy flowed into what had become a conjoined universe, where it would have normally just died, but it latched on to another universe and became a living part of it, where it's really just alive in the bare sense of the word. Under normal circumstances, it would be nothing, just like a vestigial appendage. But in this case, all this energy flowed into the conjoined universe, along with, of course, the other, which is our universe. Each universe, when they're created, effectively has like a thimble worth of this creation energy. This universe got the equivalent of 10 Olympic-sized swimming pools dumped into it. This is where I write my stories. But then within this which is where universes are, because the multiverse is like a mass of soap bubbles. The bubble inside is the and the contains the universe and its biosphere. The Gabe is the soap film between each bubble. It is the insulator within the multiverse that keeps the multiverses from bumping together, and so they stay apart in this fashion. I can't even remember where I was going with this, but that's where we are. Ah yes, within this that's where these two universes bounce against each other. That causes a static form of energy to form, which is collecting in the between these two universes. With these universes will wear holes within each other, and when that happens and the hole gets big enough, they will connect between the two, and that forms a razor's edge. The razor's edge, where I write my stories in my head about just right now, has a massive being within it that makes it different from any other, because within this universe setting, at no time before this has any other creature like this being ever been caught, and in no time until the end of the universe is any other being like this creature caught. This is the kaiju within the Apple Rock Razor's Edge. It is, within this setting, effectively a fallen and chained god of death and destruction. But Dread Amaterasu, of course, and her children are the catalysts of everything. So on another day, I'm going to talk about that more, because it's 20 minutes in. I'm going to put this onto my computer, just do some quick rendering and editing, which will bring the file size down, upload it, and then thumbs up. So I hope your day is awesome. I'm going to do what I can do. Later on, I need to go and buy some food, and so I can eat. That would be good. A definite thumbs up on that. So until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is definitely a very, very good thing. Now, of course, I have to reach forward and turn this on.